Alright, we're recording. Move some screens around here. There we go. So this is a basic craft I just threw together. Probably could do it with some of this RCS, but hey, we like Delta V. Delta V's good. We're gonna take this thing off. So usually what I try and do, anytime I try and go to Nimbus, I try and achieve a minimum orbit of 500 kilometers. I'm gonna use the ascent guidance just to get us up. But the closer to 500 kilometers you can get, the better. It just allows you to, at least for me, I have found that it allows you to make that inclination change a little easier. Because if you're too shallow, you run the risk of causing your periaps to re-enter the atmosphere. So I find having that distance, it makes it easier to correct. So that's just the way I've always done it. Now I'm sure other people may say things differently, but for me, that's that's how I do it. So we're going to go ahead and use the ascent guidance just to get up to that height, because once we're done with this, we don't need it. And I probably won't use this whole thing. This is a lot of rocket. I mean, we're like 4,135 meters a second. So, and a kaboom. Also, by setting the acceleration to 25 meters a second, you extend this burn time, because notice it's down to like a minute and 10. If you watch as we start getting up here, that's going to hold at a time for an extended period, because the thrust to weight ratio and then the load and everything is balancing it out to where my delta V is leveling out. It's becoming equal. See how this is bouncing around? So I'm actually getting additional seconds out of my delta V by having this lower acceleration. I can do more, but that's going to fall faster. This is going to bounce around 45, 46 for quite a long time. Look at how long those seconds are. But we're still getting lots of push. Here's our surface thrust to weight ratio. Because the craft is becoming a lot lighter as it goes up. Come on, give me my antenna. There we go. Now this thing's going to get us into our circularization orbit here. We're almost at orbit here. Just a little more. 314 meters a second. I'll probably use the remainder of this fuel to make my inclination change. Should have had that set. But our target is going to be right here. If we look at our changes right now, we're 6 degrees off. And we'll want to put our maneuver nodes right at these guys here to get us close to that when we go to make our inclination change, because that's going to give us our swing. So you look at these, and that's where you'll want to put your maneuver node. So we'll wait until we're circular before we do that. But for future reference, you can set up a maneuver node right here and burn out towards this edge here. So you don't have to make the inclination change. And as Nimbus comes around, you can intercept it right here at this point without making any inclination change at all. Because you're at the same plane right here as you would be either there or there. Because that's where the two lines cross. So that helps save you some delta V. If you want to try and plan it that way, it's a little more difficult to get that intercept. But let me show you. So we go here, add maneuver, and we just burn out right on that line. See how that's going right out there? That's our closest intercept right there. So if we were to swing this back just a bit, there. Now we don't have to make a single inclination change, and we have an encounter. But notice that encounter is 67 days away, because we got that 67 listed there on that encounter. So we would have to wait so many orbits in order to have that encounter. So that's something you can plan. That's something you can use, and it's going to save us delta V to make that burn because we don't have to do that inclination change. The other thing you can do is if you know you're going to Minmus, launch into that inclination. But again, you're going to have to wait until you get to that orbital period, because if you look where we launched at, we're over here. We needed to be right here. We needed to be at this point for that inclination change, right? So that is one way of intercepting Nimbus without doing an inclination change. But we want to do it the more efficient way, or I guess I should say not necessarily efficient, but an easier way is to be on that same plane of existence. So we want to add our maneuver. I say plane of existence, I mean inclination. I need to use the right terminology. Oh, I think I went too far. What do my notes say? Yeah, I think I'm a little too much there. Bring this back just a bit. 0.4, 0.3, still 0.3, 0.2, 0.2, 0.1, 0.1, 0.1. Oh, there we go. So there's our 0. So that's our burn, 190 meters a second. We want to swing ourselves over here. Let's go ahead and turn that off. Come on, bring us down. Helps if I have this on. Alright, now our burn is in 7 minutes 56 seconds, so I'm gonna time warp just a bit, get us on our drive-by rail here. And we're dead on with that node, so that's where we want to be for this inclination change. So if you notice right now we're at a 0.037 on our inclination. And we'll have this really, really close to 6. It doesn't have to be... the closer to 6 you can get, the better, but it doesn't have to be exactly 6. You want to be just somewhere within the 5 to 6 range. And you should be able to get really good intercepts with that anywhere along its orbit. Stop. Stop our clock! Okay, we're a little bit past it, but that's okay. I'm just watching this here. We're just a smidge over. That's fine. So now we're into that same inclinational orbit. So go back to our rule of thumb with where this is at. You want to be about 90 degrees off. Add a maneuver. Push out towards it. And we should get a good encounter as long as the mun stays out of our way. Right there. Boom. And that puts us just about... It puts us close enough. We could probably burn just a little more. Get us slightly closer, clean things up a bit. Let's back that off because we had that mun encounter there. Now, if we want, see where those are at? We can actually take this, swing it back this way. Perfect. So now we want to swing around to our node. Oop, wrong way. The other thing we could do is point towards our target too, if we wanted to do that. But here we want to point towards our maneuver node. Because you can try and have intercepts just going directly for your target, but you're going to use a lot of delta V. What we're trying to do here is be as efficient as possible delta V wise by allowing its orbit to catch up to us as we're heading out to it. And this is actually a really steep climb into it, right? If we wanted, we could do a little bit more of a wide burn and catch up to it a little further out in its orbit if we wanted to do that. But again, that takes more math than what I want to do when I'm playing a game. So we're going to go ahead and speed up. We got 50 minutes to that node. Ten, nine, eight, seven, six, five, four, three, two, one. And I hit the question mark to stop that. That's when you're advancing on that time warp, that question mark cancels the time warp. I did it as close to one as I could get because it takes just a second for it to cycle down. So you don't, that'll prevent you from being over your burn time. As soon as this thing reaches 0, that's when we want to, don't worry about this top number. This is how long the burn's going to be. We want to do this as close to 0 as we can, because that's when it wants us to start the burn. We want to be almost middle of that 16 seconds, which is about 8 seconds. Alright, I think we're going to have to make a course correction here. Perfect. So we'll be a little bit high, which is fine. Oh boy, here comes trouble. Making a recording real quick, so I can show Vulcan how to get to Minmus. Let's see how Minmus is coming around here. So now, if you notice, my encounter is over here because I'm in the gravitational field of Minmus. So I just click here, go add maneuver, back my do my burn, my braking burn here. I'm already on that node. So now I accelerate. Twenty, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now I cancel it. See how it dropped down to 20 seconds when I said 1? There's our little fella right there. 2, 1. Those last little few bits of delta V there. Perfect. See, we've captured it. There's our orbit. Now we can make any adjustments we need. That's how simple it is. Let me know if you have any other questions. Later. Ah! That's the problem with having one of my keys as my cancel button for the stream.